Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Dave, and welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. Dang, I messed up my intro. Anyway, and right now I'm gonna talk to y'all about Henry Danger, the movie. That's right, Henry Danger from the titular character. Well, not the titular character, but the television show from Nickelodeon. Right? It has a movie. It's now streaming on Paramount Plus, and I'm here to talk about it. So I was a little bit of a Henry Danger fan. We'll get into that. Before I go any further, we'll remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. You already subscribe. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So Henry Danger, the movie. Like I said, this is a Paramount Plus streaming movie. So it was made for streaming. Based on the popular Nickelodeon television series called Henry Danger, that followed a young kid named Henry Hart as he became a superhero named Kid Danger, and just his who was the sidekick to Captain Man, who was the main superhero in the city of Swellview, and just the adventures that he has from saving the city and the world from a bunch of bad guys to just trying to keep his identity hidden, and just also while going just through regular zany or coming of age adventures, shall you say. I want to say the show ran for, I think, 5 seasons, maybe 6, but I think it ran for a couple seasons on Nickelodeon. It was very popular, like I said. It starred Jace Norman as Henry Hart and a bunch of other cast members whose names I kind of don't really feel like looking at right now. But yeah, like I said, this was a really popular show. People was really rocking with this. So this movie is kind of a continuation because the show ended back in it ended a couple years back, and it had a really nice finale. It led to a spinoff of Henry Danger, which was called Danger Force, which ran for, I know this for a fact, it ran for about 5 seasons. There was an animated show they had based on this. So this universe is expansive. It also had crossovers with another Nickelodeon superhero-based project called the Thundermans. So, all in all, this is one of their most popular live action shows. And I like I said, or alluded to earlier, I was very much a casual fan of this show. I did find a lot of enjoyment in it. They used to have the marathons on all the time on like Teen Nick or Pluto TV and stuff like that. So I caught myself watching a lot of Henry Danger. And I really did enjoy it. A lot of good laughs. I liked the characters. I liked some of the storylines. I was really invested in the last couple of seasons where his identity was being put out, where they had the musical episode. So I found myself really getting into Henry Danger at one point, which is kind of weird because, like, I was even like, yo, the last episode, I got to make sure I watch that. Like, yo, I got to see what happens. So it was really interesting for me to be so invested in such a show that was, outside of my demographic. But I gotta say the jokes were really good. The humor was really good. Jokes and humor, pretty much the same thing, right? I guess some of the action was pretty good. This was one of the shows that was filmed and had like the laugh track on there. So it was only but so much they could do, but they were very inventive with some of the things that they did. So now that I've given you that background, especially with my relation to Henry Danger, I have to say, when I heard that they were making a movie, I was excited about it. I was ready to see it. I was waiting for it. When I finally found out I was getting a release date, I was like, oh, yeah, here we go. So it came out on January 17th on Paramount Plus, like I mentioned 1,000 times earlier. And this movie takes a very interesting approach because it does kind of ages up the series. It puts it in like a cinematic view, so it's not filmed like a sitcom. It's filmed like a movie. Like, it has a cinematic quality to it and all that good stuff. But the movie, it follows after meeting Kid Danger, a superfan named Missy Martin. After meeting Kid Danger, superfan Missy Martin gets pulled into a portal that opens alternate realities. Henry and his experienced new sidekick must find their way back to dystopia or be trapped forever. So, for those of you who are not caught on Henry Danger lore, who were fans of the show, this is going to be very simple. Henry's in dystopia now, where he was at the end of the original Henry Danger series. That's where he lives. That's where he does his vigilante work. This is, of course, after he faked his death as Henry Danger and moved there to kind of have a new superhero alias and all that good stuff. I will say that the movie, you don't need to go back and watch any of the episodes of the show necessarily. Like, you can watch them for entertainment, but the movie really does do a good job at, in the beginning, kind of explaining to you what the show was about, where you are with the characters and all that good stuff. And so the interesting thing is that this movie focuses mainly on, well, not mainly, but this movie, part of the emotional crux and the some of the conflict comes from the fact that Henry and Jasper are at a bit of a they're bumping heads, right? Jasper is now Henry's sidekick. Charlotte's away at college and whatnot. So Jasper kind of just feels underappreciated, and Henry's the one getting all the spotlight, to the point where Henry's even kind of blowing Jasper off. And one of the interesting things I found about this movie is, in my opinion, I never thought Henry was really that cool with Jasper. Anyway, like, Jasper was his friend, but like, I never really saw the relationship as so close. So in a way, seeing Henry kind of act the way he did towards Jasper, to me, it kind of made sense, because it was like, okay, well, y'all wasn't really, in my eyes, y'all wasn't really that close anyway. Y'all was just cool because Jasper found out you was Henry Danger, and y'all went to the same school, and y'all had, like, you know, y'all was able to be like friends. But Henry was closer to Charlotte. And I feel like I understand, for whatever reason, the actress who played Charlotte wasn't in this movie or couldn't appear. I think there are some people say it was scheduling conflict. She had another project she was working on. But I feel like that portion of the movie would have hit harder if Henry had that falling out with Charlotte as opposed to Jasper. With Jasper, it just feels like, okay, well, Jasper, you were like the goofy ass sidekick anyway. It wasn't like, you wasn't like the best friend status. Again, in my eyes, he wasn't. I never saw Jasper as that close to Henry, so that's just me though. But you do got a lot of the returning cast in here. The Schwaz is back. Henry's sister, Piper, she's back, and she plays a very significant role in this movie as well. And I like her role. I'll get into that in a second. You have a special appearance by certain characters. Certain characters make appearances in here. I won't really spoil that. I thought it's all that stuff. It really is very interesting to see this series kind of this movie kind of age up with the series. Shout out Keisha Noyes. Henry Danger, it was really good. The movie was really dope. I do agree. I do really much like this movie, and one of the things I like about it, outside of it having that that cinematic feel to it, is that, like I've alluded to before, it ages up with the audience. So, and it does it in a very tasteful way. It's not distasteful. It's really I like how it does it. It does so, like, Henry, like I say, he's a more established hero in dystopia. He's a more he's more notable. He's getting like brand deals and stuff like that. He's what you would think that he would be at this point in his hero career. And it's really interesting to see how he's like that, and how he's able to use his power, because at the end of the Henry Danger series, he got a superpower, and he was able to make a force field around him. And it's really interesting seeing him utilize that power and and just make himself look cool while doing it. So what ends up happening is that there's he has a super fan in another town. I forgot what the other town was. And she uses some type of device, which is the one part I'm not really clear on, is how the device actually fully works. That part kind of confused me a little bit, but she used the device to bring Henry to her town to help get rid of the crime. Come to find out that she thought she brought him back from the dead, because, like I said, he faked his death, but she didn't. And so now this movie just turned into like a multiverse hopping thing, to where they're trapped in her stories, that her fan fiction rather, that she wrote about herself and Henry, and they just have to figure out how to get back to their own quote unquote dimension, so that so that they can dang it, I forgot. I forgot I didn't even have my ticker. I just looked down there, I didn't have my ticker on. So that they can, it's still not on there, so that they can just return Henry to where he needs to be, to dystopia, so that he can continue his hero work. Um, yeah, the movie's pretty simple. It's not complicated. It doesn't go too far out of its way for the edgy jokes. It does take jabs at some of the the one jab it took in particular, I'm not gonna say it, but fans of Henry Danger, y'all probably have seen the movie and y'all probably know which. So I'll just say it. It's no big deal. So Henry Danger, like I mentioned before, had an animated series, and this movie does. And I'm glad it kind of took that jab at the animated series. The animated series for Henry Danger was kind of bad, and it took a really cool and classy jab at that show. Piper, I mentioned Piper in this earlier. So in one of the fan fictions that the girl wrote, Piper is like a vampire villain, and she's pretty much trying to turn everybody into vampires so that then she can go and turn the real world into vampires. It's a very interesting. The stakes are kind of high, no pun intended, because you kill vampires with wooden stakes in the heart. Stakes are high. Henry has to decide to be the kid danger hero persona, because he separated himself from that. But in this for a majority of the movie, you see him in the suit. It's very, very interesting. It's very fun. The fight scenes are really good for what it's worth. There's a good amount of heart. Like I said, while I would have preferred the heart to come from Henry and Charlotte, it coming from Henry and Jasper, and seeing what Jasper in any universe would do to not just protect Henry. Henry was the sidekick to Jasper. That was fun. He spent a lot of time in that world, and I do like what they did with that, and just showing the dynamics there. I love what they did with Schwoz. Schwoz is actually my second favorite character in the show. I like the bit that they do in this movie when they're looking for Schwoz, and he's like, Schwoz, 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 and you hear him in the background, yo, and I love that. And Schwoz, like I said, Schwoz is he's like the genius. He's like the genius character. He's very smart, can build all the inventions and stuff like that, and helps them fix the device that can get Henry back home. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's because I'm really not trying to spoil too much about the movie in case you're interested in watching it. I haven't seen it yet. One of the things I did like about this movie, though, is amongst the many other things, was I like the ending. The ending does make me want more, especially that post-credit scene or mid-credit scene. Yeah, I'm very interested in more. I want to see if there's a follow-up, a continuation, another movie. It does set it put the Henry Danger franchise in a place to where they have a direction to go in, and I would like to see if they do go in that direction. If however they decide to progress, I'm excited to see it. I think if they were to bring Henry Danger back for another series, which this movie does kind of set up, I think it would be wise to do it in the same style as the movie. Kind of give it that different, kind of give the franchise something different to do, as opposed to keep going with the laugh tracks and the cheaper budget. Like, take advantage of having this type of a budget where it can be like, especially if it's going to be on Paramount Plus, then they can make it a Paramount Plus exclusive, really, and just kind of give more way to tell more interesting stories and do more interesting action bits as they did in this film. They can find different ways to have characters do different things. I think it will be a very welcome change to the Henry Danger formula. But yeah, all in all, this movie was really, the jokes were really good. It carries the same humor from the show. It's carried right into the movie, and it fits in seamlessly, especially the bit where they always end up talking over each other. Like, somebody will say something in the background, somebody else saying something, they're all talking over each other, kind of have like a mini argument, so to speak. I love that. And like some of the jokes, there was some really good I would say jokes targeted towards the older crowd, and those jokes worked perfectly. Henry Danger was always just a little bit more edgy than some of the other shows. And that edge is kind of, like I said, that edge is carried through the movie and increased, and it's done in a very good way. So I really did enjoy it. It's something you can watch with the kids, something you can watch with other adults. It is rated PG, so it's very fun. It feels like a PG movie. like it doesn't try to push boundaries, but it does, like I said, it does mature with the audience that was watching it at its peak. You know what I mean? So all in all, this movie, it was a very fun movie to watch. I really did enjoy it. And let's see, I'm not the only one. Well, I guess I might be in the minority of people. I mean, I've seen very good feedback from this movie online and everything like that. I'm trying to see if I can get any type of critical consensus. Um, so Common Sense Media gave this film 3 out of 5 stars. They said this movie, and I agree, this movie is satisfying for fans, and it's a good introduction for people who are first timers to the franchise. 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb. Me personally, I give this movie 4.5 stars. It's very good. It's very interesting. Like I said before, you don't need to, and like the review there said too, or the critics there said, you don't need to know much about Henry Danger because everything you need to know is given to you within the first 2 minutes of the movie. You get all the information that you need to know about Henry Danger when you turn on this movie, and it's a great introduction. It's a great continuation for fans. It's very accessible, and I really did enjoy it. So that's really all I got to say. Like I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good, and I would love to see more come from the Henry Danger universe. So hopefully we do get more in the form of another movie, or if there's a continuation series, hopefully they do it in the same style as the movie. So we'll see. But like I said, 4.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoy it. Check it out. Henry Danger the movie, now streaming on Paramount Plus. If you have a subscription, give it a watch. Make good use of that Paramount Plus subscription. So, but anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like button down below. Comment, what was your favorite moment of the movie? Did you enjoy this movie? Are you a fan of this series in general? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, make sure you hit that. Make sure you follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. And until next time, y'all, be easy, stay breezy, and be heroic somewhere. I've been going through this for the last couple reviews. I'm just going to keep talking till my computer decides it wants to do something. Yeah, I don't know. Just be kind to each other. You know, eat your vegetables. You know, stay healthy. You know, it's almost February. Get y'all Valentine's Days in order. Oh, we're also on Fanbase. I got some things coming up over there. I'm going to talk about some other stuff as well over on the channel. Best way to do that is to make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow us on social media. And until next time, y'all, be easy, stay breezy. Peace.